Brandon. Is it working? That's what JJ told me to do. Oh, is it good? All right, we're good now? All right, so as Mr. Rick, he kind of gave me a little introduction, but my name's Coggins, if you don't know who I am. I'm the Bible teacher at Jefferson Christian Academy, and I think I have the best job in the world. I've loved every minute of it. I'm super happy that I'm there right now, but I say all that to say I'm finally on a break, and it's great. When you're around 6th to 12th grade all day, every day for 5 days a week, it gets a little tough sometimes. But we're gonna have a little break over the summer, but I'll be with the youth during the summer, so it'll be a good time. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start. How I'm gonna kind of do my report is just kind of talk a little bit about me before JCA, what I did before being a teacher at JCA, and then how I became the JCA teacher, what the thought process came, or how I thought about it, I guess. So I guess it's a personal thought process. I have a few graphs up there. We're going to see how those go. I don't know how everybody feels about graphs or anything, but I want to give a picture of what JCA is as a school, specifically when it comes to the kids that go there and stuff. And so I think some of the charts that I'm going to have up here are going to be a good indication of that, and we'll kind of explain that as we go through. All right, so life before being the JCA Bible teacher. All right, so a little bit about me. I went to JCA, 6th through 12th grade. I think I went to, was it the Pinson Valley Elementary? So that's why I wasn't at JCA. But 6th through 12th grade, I went to JCA, and then after that, I graduated from JCA, and then I went to Faulkner University. As you can see, number 2, I got an accounting degree at Faulkner University. The reason for that is because somebody said I'd always have job security, and so I was like, let's do it. All right, so that was my thought process. Probably not the best thought process, but that's how I went about it. So I started an accounting job. I think I was an accountant for 4 years before, well, I guess it was technically 3 years before I found out about the possibility of being a JCA Bible teacher. How that kind of happened was Richard, he was kind of feeding in these little thoughts of how the Bible teacher, hey, there's a job out there for you. If you're interested, I think you'd be a good candidate for it. And he was kind of feeding me every now and then for about a year. And I finally told myself that I want to pursue that if there is an opportunity there, I wanted to pursue that. And thankfully, the elders at Deerfoot wanted to support me. They believed in me enough where I could take this job, and I am forever grateful for the opportunity that they gave me. So how I came to that decision is number 3. I don't know where I heard this lesson. I don't know if it was here or if it was at Maywood or if it was, I have no idea. But during that year span, I heard a lesson about the parable of the talents. And that's when I started thinking about what this job is, the opportunities of this job, and different things like that. So in Matthew 25, I put verse 15 is the main part. But if you remember the parable of the talents, so it was a 5-talent man, a 2-talent man, and a 1-talent man. All right, all of them were given talents by this, I think it was a landowner. And each of them had to go make business off of those individual talents, right? So the 5-talent man, if you remember the story, he came back with 5 more, right? And then the landowner was like, good and faithful servant, you've done well. That's what he told that talent man, all right? And then the 2-talent man, he came back with 2 more. Then he said the same thing to that. But then the 1-talent man, he buried it in the dirt. He didn't do anything with it. And he got no reward, right? That was the ultimate decision of that. But the verse that got me when I heard this lesson was somebody pointed out, which for whatever reason, I guess I skipped over this verse at the very beginning. But verse 15, to one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to each according to his ability. I thought that was I guess I just never thought about that. To each his own ability. I know Richard has mentioned it a lot, but we can't all be preachers, right? We can't all do all the same things, or else we wouldn't really be that good of a church, right? We all have to do different things. Some of us have to be different, I guess, parts of the body, if you will, because we all have different strengths. And I thought to myself, how can I impact God's kingdom? How can I be an impact in the world today? And when the JCA job came up, I heard this lesson after I heard about that job, and I thought, that's something I can do. That's something that I can make an impact on the kids that are there. I feel like I have the capability of doing that, and hopefully, I think I've been at least a little bit successful in the short time that I've been there. All right, so number 4, The JCA Bible teacher job has been one that is inconsistent. Even going back to when I was there was a void that needed to be filled. So like I said earlier, number 3, I heard that lesson. I thought it was something that I could do. I think even back to when I was there, we had Bible teachers coming in and out. I think one year when I wasn't there afterwards, I think they had 4 different Bible teachers in one year. I could be wrong, maybe it was only 3, but there was a lot of in and out. And so I feel like these kids, they need some consistent, somebody consistent there, somebody that is always their Bible teacher so that they can continue to grow in their faith and just spiritually as well. Before we get into some of those graphs to get a picture of what these students, or who these students are that I'm teaching, how my schedule typically goes, or the things that I'm in charge of, I guess you could say at JCA, is we have a daily chapel. Monday through Thursday, I schedule speakers to come in. Most of them are local youth ministers or local preachers at churches of Christ around the area. And so I schedule those, and then on Friday we always have a singing, so any that are willing to lead singing in front of the kids, I invite them to come in as well. And sometimes I have to fulfill that duty as well. But I do chapel every day. We also have a day that's called Spiritual Emphasis Day towards the end of the year in April. It is a Friday during a school day, and I invite a bunch of speakers to come in. I think this year we had 5 speakers came in this year, and I give them topics for them to teach on for these kids. This year I tried to mainly just focus on what I think these kids are interested in. And so I gave various topics to all these 5 speakers, and the kids just rotate through a class pretty much like they would do on a youth trip, like exposure or something like that. So, and then obviously I teach 6 classes a day, ranging from 6th to 12th grade. My day's kind of weird. I go first period, I'm in 7th grade. And then I work my way up to 12th grade, all the way to 5th period. And then I go all the way back down to 6th grade to end my day. So it's a roller coaster of emotions, a roller coaster of maturity throughout my day. All right, but these are, what I got coming up is some questions and some charts. I don't know if y'all can see that. That might be a little small, but I just copied and pasted off of a Google form, so I didn't know how it was going to show up. But I gave all these kids, I got 105 responses out of this, and I gave all these kids a survey, and I told them to be honest. This is 6th to 12th grade, so maybe the younger kids didn't fully understand what they should have put, but I think this is a pretty accurate representation of what these kids are. So the question is, if you can't read it, what religious affiliation would you say you are currently a part of? So I listed all the ones that I think that would apply, and as you can see, I think Baptist was 27%. I don't think the percents are, or maybe you can't tell the colors, but Baptist was 27%, Church of Christ 24%. A number that kind of surprised me was kids that do not attend, that's 16%. Church of the Highlands 13%, other 11%, so I'm not sure where those kids attend. Catholic 5%, Methodist 2%, Community Church 2%, Episcopal 1%. So that kind of gives you an idea of the students that I teach at JCA every day. I was honestly a little surprised by some of the results on this. From how long I've been around the students, I actually didn't think there were that many Church of Christ kids there, but maybe that's my fault not getting to know them. But the big number that obviously sticks out to me is that 16% that just don't attend church. And that really hits home to me because I'm literally probably the only Bible that they see, the only Bible class that they have during the week. So I really got to make it count when I have those kids in my class. But I think that's important to know that those are the kids that are going. All right, I also asked them a question: how many times do you attend worship in a week? All right, and the overwhelming number one was 1 time a week with the 36%. Some of them, and 24% said 2, they attend 2 times a week. 16% said that they only attend on special holidays. So special holidays or special occasions or different things like that. 14% said they do not attend church. So I guess that goes back to the first question. And then only 3 of them say that they go 3 times, or 10% of them say they go 3 times a week to church. All right, the next one is which way do you believe is the correct way to be baptized? So the ones I have on there is immersed. As you can see, that is the overwhelming answer. This was towards the end of the year, so I hope that I kind of taught that, or they learned that from me if they didn't already know it before, but 91% of the kids, they believe that immersion is the correct form of baptism. 4% say it's not necessary to go to heaven, 3% pouring, 3% sprinkled. That is something that I taught them at the very beginning of the year. First thing we talked about this year was a plan of salvation, because I realized after my first year, the type of kids, or I guess the religious background of the kids that I had. I didn't realize what it was my first year because I was just getting to know them, but the second year, I thought the plan of salvation was the perfect thing to start off with, and I hope that had an impact on this question towards the end of the year. All right, the next question, this one was the one that I was kind of surprised by. Do you believe baptism is necessary to go to heaven? So we had 91% of the kids said immersion was the correct way to be baptized. But then when we go to this question, do you believe baptism is necessary to go to heaven? Only 69% said yes, and 32% said no. I was very surprised by that. That is something that I've kind of harped on this year. So I don't know if they weren't listening or if that's what their background is or just different things like that. But that is something that I'm definitely going to take into next year. Like I said, I think I did the survey maybe 3 weeks ago. So I'm going to take that information into next year, and hopefully I can change some of those no's to yeses, Lord willing. Did it stop working? Oh, there we go. All right, so I kind of wanted to show a little bit of the pros, and I said challenges because I don't really think there's cons. I don't think there's cons to my job. As the Bible teacher, I think there are just some things that I do have to overcome. So the pros, as Mr. Rick already said, this is a mission work. I truly believe, hopefully by those charts, by seeing what kind of students I'm teaching on a daily basis, hopefully you can recognize that it is a mission field. It truly is a mission field. I'm trying my hardest to give them what they need out of the Bible and teach them the basics of the Bible so that they can grow in their faith. Number 2, it is family-oriented school. And that kind of goes with number 3, relationships can be built due to the size of the school. I think the rare thing about me teaching at JCA is that I know every single student that I teach. I know their name, I know their first and last name, I know just little things about them. I know what they participate in school, I know what they're interested in, I know what's going to get their attention, I know what's not going to get their attention, and different things like that. And I think that's pretty rare when you think of maybe bigger schools that teachers don't have that advantage because they have so many students. It's not because they can't do it, but because they have so many students. And so I think that's a huge thing for me is just building those relationships with these kids so I can teach them to the best of my ability. And I really want to take advantage of that. The challenges. All right, so obviously I teach at a school. So I have the challenge of these kids saying it is just a grade. Ooh, that is tough to overcome. That is really a tough one. I do understand that this is in an academic setting. So they just want that A to get out, right? They just want that A, B, or if they just want to pass a C or a D and get out of the class. That is tough to fight because I don't really know what my defense is to that. I mean, yeah, I guess if you just pass, I guess your parents will be happy and you won't get in trouble. So I guess if that's all you need, then that's all you need. But I constantly get the comment, it's just a grade. Oh, I won't do this assignment because it's just a grade. I can slack off a little bit. Number 2, being the Bible teacher, all right? It is almost impossible to be cool if you are the Bible teacher, all right? I can promise you that. It is almost impossible to be a cool guy if you are labeled as the Bible teacher, especially just in the secular world today. What I've tried to do to overcome that is to play review games during our classes, whether they're trivia games or different things like that. Or I'll go to a sporting event or a sporting practice. And if you show kids nowadays that you are somewhat coordinated in a sport, they are just amazed because Bible teachers are not supposed to be able to dribble a basketball or something like that. So they are just absolutely amazed by any sort of athleticism from a Bible teacher because that's not normal. So, but whatever the case may be, being the Bible teacher, that is a challenge to get over. Once I started helping with the basketball team a little bit, the boys and the girls basketball team. I would show up to their practices, and it actually proved to be really fruitful because a lot of those players on both of the teams, or I guess all three because the JV boys, but they were more comfortable coming up to me after that. They were more comfortable to talk to me because they saw me, I guess, in a quote-unquote normal setting, if you will. Instead of in a structured class or something like that, they saw me in a normal setting at a basketball practice, or whether I was supporting them at a game or something like that. I feel like that really, truly helped me out with a lot of relationships or with those students. So, but being the Bible teacher in general, it's just not the cool thing to do, I guess. So, number 3, the line of, I didn't know how to put this one, but the line of discipline and respect. So, I am in a teacher position, right? Has anybody ever been mad at their teacher before? All right, so I would probably say that everybody has been mad at some point at their teacher. If you remember way back when you got in trouble sometime or something like that. But the line of discipline and respect, all right, I have to fight that a little bit because I have to discipline the kids, if they're getting out of control or something like that. But also I need to make sure that I'm not ruining that relationship, right? I got to make sure that I'm recognizing that kid is a soul that I'm trying to save, right? So I have to make sure that I balance that line of discipline, but also being respectful in a way that I won't ruin that relationship like on the pro side. So that's definitely a challenge that I face on pretty much a daily basis. All right, so on my last slide, I have a video after this. So it's about an 11-minute video of the kids and teachers, and I'll kind of talk a little bit about that in a second. But my last slide, why is JCA so important? All right, number 1, what I found out teaching at JCA is that kids need spiritual guidance now more than ever. The reason I say that is because I've found out while teaching at JCA is that if you are a TikToker or a YouTuber, your word is law, all right? Your word is the most important word ever, and any news that these kids get, it's usually from one of those two sources. I don't know if the youth want to agree with me or not, but that is what I found out at JCA is social media is typically where we get this news. And I'm trying to teach them that the only truth that we know for sure is the Bible, right? That's how we're supposed to live, and we're supposed to live according to the Bible. So kids need spiritual guidance now more than ever. That's why JCA is so important. Number 2, it creates a safe environment for kids to question their faith. In my class, I try to be as open as possible. I try to let the kids be open as possible, I guess I should say. I like to accept questions from them because it lets me know that they're thinking, lets me know that they're trying to dig a little deeper. And let me just tell you, I've gotten some really tough questions that some of them I had to be like, let me go study and I'll get back to you on it because that is a really tough question. But it creates a safe environment. I'm trying to let these kids explore their faith. I'm trying to let them question their faith. As you saw on the charts, there's a lot of different religions that I'm teaching to, or a lot of different backgrounds that I'm teaching to, right? So I'm trying to make them comfortable, and I'm trying to make them understand that this is a safe place, that they can question their faith, and that they can ask me questions, and I will try my best to answer through the Bible, all right? Number 3, I have these kids 5 days a week, and it only takes one day to change their life, create a conversation, or make them think about what they do. I really try to go into every day I'm working, I really try to go in with that mindset. Sometimes it is hard. I'm not perfect, but sometimes it is hard. But I do realize that I'm with these kids 5 days a week. Each individual kid, I'm with them 50 minutes a day, and I need to make sure that I'm taking advantage of that, right? I can, hopefully, one of those days I can either change their life, I can create a conversation like we were talking about earlier to question what they believe, think about what they believe, or just make them think about what they do on a daily basis. How can they change their life for the better? All right, so before we get to number 4, I kind of wanted to talk about an example in the Bible that I feel is a huge motivation to me during or while I'm working at JCA. In towards the end of Acts 15, we see that Paul and Barnabas, they decide before the second missionary journey that they are going to split, right? Paul and Barnabas are going to split, and Paul has to pick up a new partner in Silas, and he picks up Timothy as well along the way. During the beginning of Paul's second missionary journey, I don't know if y'all remember the first 4 cities that he went through. The first city they went to was Philippi. All right, so he went to Philippi, and him and Silas were put in prison, or thrown in prison, right? And it was only because Paul got annoyed with some girl that was trying to make money for somebody else, and he just sent the demon out of her, and then those people got mad, and they were like, you can't do that to us, and then they threw him in jail, right? Would we say that that was a successful mission? That probably wouldn't be a successful mission, right? That was a small failure, right? But then we see when he got into the prison, the Philippian jailer, he converted the Philippian jailer and all his household. So if you want to talk about small victories, that was definitely a small victory. But in the grand scheme of Philippi, I would say that Paul probably didn't go into Philippi and do what he wanted to do, right? The next city that he went to, going through all the way in chapter 17, that second city is Thessalonica. All right, so Paul goes into Thessalonica, and he's hoping, I'm assuming that he's thinking to himself, I hope I have a little bit more success, right? I got thrown in jail in Philippi. I need to go somewhere else. Hopefully I'll have more success saving some souls. And he goes into Thessalonica, and there's always those naysayers, right? He found some believers that were devout. He found some believers that are going to follow him. But then he also found people that are not going to like him, right? He found people that were even so strongly against what he is saying. We jump down to verse 5 in chapter 17, is that they formed a mob, set the city in an uproar, and attacked the house of Jason, somebody that was keeping them in their house. We also see that they tried to tell Caesar that they were going to take his throne. They were talking about Jesus was going to take his throne as well. And then eventually, they kicked out Paul, right? So was Thessalonica a success in Paul's eyes? Probably not, right? Probably wasn't a success. All right, we'll go to another city, all right? So the next city we go to is Berea. All right, he goes into Berea, and Berea is on fire for God, right? These Bereans, they are soaking up everything that Paul's teaching them. They are excited to learn more about it. But who comes down into Berea and kicks them out? Those Thessalonians that he just left, right? Those Thessalonians, they march down into Berea, and they kick them out of Berea. And they're like, you're not going to have it in Thessalonica. You're not going to have it in Berea. So whatever. So was Berea successful? There was a little success because people were on fire. People were excited. So hopefully they could still keep going by themselves. But I would say that Berea was maybe not so much a success. And then the next city they went to was Athens. And Athens, actually he didn't choose to go to Athens, but he went to Athens and it was just full of idols, and that's just not a good situation for him either. The reason I want to bring that up is the one that I want to focus on is Thessalonica. How do you think Paul felt? Is a rhetorical question, but how do you think Paul felt when he left any of those cities, but specifically Thessalonica? He was probably thinking to himself, I wish I could have done more. Or there is so much more I could have done if those guys didn't chase me out. Or if they had freedom of religion, then none of this would have been a problem, right? He had so much hope for that city. Well, we can kind of see what his viewpoint was. If you flip over to 1 Thessalonians chapter 3, we can see what Paul was thinking whenever he left Thessalonica. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 1 and 2, we see that Paul is talking about how the Thessalonians, he was so, pleased with their faith and their love towards God. He thought that they were on the right track, and it was just too bad that he got kicked out the way that he did. You get towards the end of chapter 2, verse 17, it talks about him being torn away. Right? It talks about him being torn away from the Thessalonians. That means that he wanted to stay, right? It wasn't something that he just voluntarily walked off. That means that he wanted to stay. But then when you get into chapter 3, at the very beginning of the first 5 verses, he talks about how he was thinking of those Thessalonians. We are running out of time. I got to speed up. All right. Chapter 3, verse 1. Therefore, after talking about being torn away, therefore, when we could bear it no longer, we were willing to be left behind at Athens alone. And we sent Timothy, our brother and God's co-worker in the gospel of Christ, to establish and exhort you in your faith, that no one be moved by these afflictions, for you yourselves know that we are destined for this. For when we were with you, we kept telling you beforehand that we were to suffer affliction, just as it has come to pass and just as you know. For this reason, when I could bear it no longer, I sent to learn about your faith, for fear that somehow the tempter had tempted you and our labor would be in vain. All right, so we kind of get an idea of Paul whenever he left Thessalonica. He was worried, right? He was worried about these people. He had no idea what was going to happen to these people, specifically their faith. He didn't know if they were going to fall away. It says he doesn't know if they were going to be fallen into the tempter, or if all the work that Paul would have done would have just been in vain, right? He was worried about it. But we see in the next few verses, it says that Timothy gave him a report, probably the best report ever. He gave him a good report. He said that they are stronger than ever. They are growing in their faith. They're growing in their love. And they want to be the best church they can possibly be, even though they do have their faults. I can only imagine that Paul wouldn't have changed a single thing if he could go back. After he heard that report, even though we just talked about Philippi was kind of a failure, Thessalonica was kind of a failure, Berea, Athens, all of them were semi-failures, right? But I don't think Paul, after hearing this report about Thessalonica, I don't think he would have changed a single thing. And I think that's important for us to realize that just because he thought it might have been a failure or he thought it might not have been a success, that's no reason to not do what's right. That's no reason to not want to spread the word if you don't get immediate results out of what you're teaching, right? And I realize, going to number 4, I understand that during this job, I may not see some of my results. They may take this with them after graduating and figure it out later. I know any impact I make, whether I see it or not, God is going to take care of the rest. I'm just a messenger. And that's my goal. When I'm teaching at JCA, I'm hoping that I'm making some sort of impact to these kids. I'm hoping that just like Paul with the Thessalonians, he had no idea what was going on with those Thessalonians when he left. But he got a good report. And I hope one day that I get at least one good report from one of my students if I don't get it while they're at JCA, if I see them down the road. All right, I think we still got time for the video. So I think Brandon's going to put up a video for me. What it is, I have 6th through 12th grade. I have some students. They're going to introduce themselves. I just asked them to tell y'all what they like about JCA, introduce themselves, what grade they're in. Also, if what they like about the different things they do during school, whether it's Bible, chapel, spiritual institute, or different things like that. Please take into account that these are middle school and high schoolers, so some of them are a little awkward, but hopefully it'll be a good video, and hopefully it'll play, because I don't see it.
Hi, I'm Skylar.
I'm Jada.
And I'm Amari.
And we're all in 6th grade.
So what I like about chapel is the speakers that come in, and recently that I won $1 from a speaker from what I did. It's like, so I had to hold up $1 in the air, and he gave it to me for free because I just held it up for 5 minutes and my arms started hurting. And like I like the songs that I'm singing there every single day because like our favorite is probably Heaven's Road because it's like catchy and it's very nice.
I love JCA because everyone seems to know each other and everyone has a great attitude. And I also love the sports. And what I love about Bible class is that, well, for one, I learned a lot of different things because that I didn't know before because Mr. Coggins fully explains it, and he gives us the exact notes for our Bible tests. So whenever we study them, it's kind of easy to remember it.
My name is Sophia Nunez. I'm in the 7th grade, and my favorite thing about JCA is that there's a lot of mentors.
Hi, my name is Sophia. I'm in the 7th grade, and my favorite thing is home. It's like a home.
My name is Gary and I'm in the 6th grade. My favorite subject is chapel. And what I like about it is how it motivates my day to keep going and it tells how I can better myself through Christ.
My name is Jake and I'm in the 6th grade. And my favorite subject is Bible class because we get to learn about God and to have fun and learn about Jesus.
My name is Zachary. I'm in the 6th grade as well. And I like just JCA as a whole because of the friends that are here. And I also like chapel because we get to sing and we learn lessons that we can learn for our life.
My name is David Roland, and I'm in the 6th grade. My favorite subject is Bible because we learn about what it means to be in Christ. What I like about JCA is like because most of them
in ninth grade, and my favorite thing about JCA is my friends.
My name is Brooklyn Kimbrough. I am a freshman here at Jefferson Christian Academy, and my favorite thing here is that whenever you leave here, you feel like home. It feels like home. My name is Jada Washington, and I'm a freshman, and my favorite thing about JCA is the basketball team and how we're all like a family.
Hello, my name is Brendan Williams. I'm in ninth grade also. I also attend Deerfoot Church of Christ Academy. And my favorite thing is probably the competitive aspect of JCA and how everyone gets to be competitive, but also be friendly at the same time.
Hello, my name is Sophie Graves. I'm a freshman at JCA, and my favorite thing about JCA is the family type bond here.
Hi, I'm Ella. I am in the 6th grade, and Bible class is one of my favorite classes because it's a good way to end the day. And Mr. Coggins is very chill and very willing to help us with our assignments. And we often have fun learning experiences through things such as Lookits and Kahoots. And it's just it's a nice way to end our day from the stressfulness of learning math and science here at JCA.
Hey, my name is Kelron. I'm a sophomore, and my favorite thing about JCA is how close everyone is, and how close the teachers are, and the faculty is to the students, and it makes learning even better.
Hi, my name is Emily. I'm a sophomore, and my favorite thing about JCA is just the atmosphere and how sweet all the people are and the teachers.
Hi, my name is Allison. I'm a sophomore, and my favorite thing about JCA is everybody knows your name and you feel like you have a relationship with everyone.
Hi, my name is Kyle. I'm a sophomore at JCA, and my favorite thing about JCA are the teachers and how they make JCA feel like home.
Hi, my name is Austin.
I'm Trey.
I'm Tyler. And we're the trio. One thing I really like about JCA is just the chapel service every morning. Just like get up, engage in God, and all that you do at chapel every single day is just very good. Sing, get the devotion every day. It's just a blessing.
I personally like about JCA is the Bible class. My teacher's very, he knows what he's talking about. I feel like I've learned a lot of stuff. I'm able to retain it as well, and it's a very enjoyable experience.
I also like my Bible class. It teaches a lot more. I learn a lot more in these classes. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Erin Tadeus, and I'm a sophomore at Jefferson Christian Academy, and I love how family-oriented JCA is, and how you're like a name and not just a number in the school. And Mr. Coggins teaches my Bible class, and I love how he makes learning about God fun and not just, it doesn't feel like just a lesson, like it feels like I'm actually engaged, and that he includes us in our lessons and makes it fun with Kahoots and different trivia games.
Hi, I'm Morgan, and I'm in the 11th grade, and I really enjoy the chapel lessons that he's put together, especially the speakers that he's found for us. I think they do a really good job at keeping our attention, especially it being so early in the morning. And I really appreciate the work he did with Spiritual Infancies Day. I think that was a really great day that he put together.
And the songs.
My name is Tracy Hurst. I have been teaching at JCA for 14 years. My favorite things about JCA are the daily chapel lessons and the family atmosphere. I really enjoy chapel because we get a chance to listen to different speakers, and I really learn a lot from that, and the kids do as well. Spiritual Emphasis Day is a huge thing at JCA that we have every year. I really enjoy that. This year we had a variety of different speakers, and the kids really learned a lot on that day. And it was just overall a great day to glorify the Lord.
Hello, my name is Suzanne Minoski. I teach math and history. I've been at JCA for 26 years. I thank Deerfoot for allowing Alex to come and be with us. I think he has added a lot to our school. He is involved in every aspect of what we do here. The special events like Spiritual Emphasis Day and chapel every day. And an important aspect, he got involved in athletics. I think that boys need to see a Christian man involved in athletics and how he carries himself. I think that's very important. And I look forward to many more years of Alex being here. Thank you.
Good afternoon, I'm Rodney Howard. I am the head of school at Jefferson Christian Academy. I've had the role for about 5 months. In that 5 months, I've been able to observe everyone here at the school, and particularly Mr. Coggins. He does a great job with preparing our Bible classes and also preparing weekly for chapel speakers to come in and speak with the high school and middle school. He also conducted the Spiritual Emphasis Day and Spiritual Emphasis Week, really. And he made sure that we had speakers here who were knowledgeable of the gospel, and just those who spoke really well and was able to reach out to the children, and that was a great event that he sponsored there. But he also makes a great impact with basketball. He works out with the girls and boys team, and also trains them and, help Coach Lee wherever he can. So Alice has been a great addition to the school, and we really appreciate everything he does for JCA.
Hi, my name is Kayla Reeves, and I teach high school math and science. I believe that Mr. Coggins has done a great job since being here at JCA. On the Spiritual Emphasis Day that he arranged, I noticed that the kids were asking good questions and taking good notes. And overall, they seem to be more religiously minded since they've been taking his Bible classes. He challenges them to think critically and use logic along with the Bible. So over time, I've seen the complaining about the difficulty of his class turn into more of in-depth discussion in class. Teaching science, I get to tackle all of those hot button topics like abortion and evolution and things like that. And they've really impressed me with their open-mindedness and their kindness to each other in debating. And I really just attribute all of that to the skills that he's teaching them in their Bible classes. So I believe he's doing a great job in shaping their futures.
Bible is a foundational element of Jefferson Christian Academy. It's the very reason we are in existence, and we are blessed to have Bible classes for all of our students every day. We're truly blessed this year to have a campus minister and Mr. Coggins for our middle and high school students. Every year I interview the seniors on their way out and exit interviews, and I always ask them, what is your favorite thing about JCA? And every year, 1 or 2 or maybe 5 or 6 students say, it has to be the Bible classes. We wouldn't have gotten that anywhere else.
Is this thing on? No? All right. So I thanked all them for doing the video for me. I didn't want to video any of those because I thought it'd be awkward if they were saying something about me and I was videoing it. But I just wanted y'all to see some of the people that I interviewed. Those are actual students at JCA, if you didn't realize that, and those are actual teachers. And so I just wanted y'all to get an actual picture of who they are instead of us just talking about JCA as a school and not knowing who any of them are. All right. We're going to close tonight in a prayer. So. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for this opportunity we had to come together to just learn about JCA and learn about the mission work there. We pray that that JCA, the kids there, that they grow spiritually, that we're able to help them in whatever we need. We're so thankful for the Mission Sunday that we had recently. We're thankful for the funds that were given so that we can spread the word abroad to the whole world and even locally. We thank you for your Son who died on the cross to save us from our sins, and it's in Christ's name we pray. Amen.